Good morning from Arivaca. So what have we been up to? Well, we have officially landed jobs. So that will allow us to start putting some money where our mouth is in terms of these projects to try to get ourselves off grid fully, not just the little bit that we are. We are still on electric, but our goal is to be as self-sufficient as possible. We're trying to grow our own food. We have some daikon radishes in this little spot here. These check dams would continue all the way over, but we had planted these daikon radishes. So until they're finished, we're going to leave that the way it is at the moment. Then we'll continue these lines across to build up these beds specifically. This is also going to get watered and it'll get dug, and then the swale portion here will get flopped over, so that way it'll be able to trap and capture a lot more water, especially during the rainstorms, because this all comes downhill. So all the flow from the driveway area goes through these different mesquite areas and on the side here, and it flows this way. So we got some start going on with this, as you can see. Our beaver analog dam over here is looking pretty damn good. I added a couple more rock check dams on this side that goes all the way across here, and there's a little bit of bio retentive material, so like different grasses and branches and stuff that'll hold it in that space and hold up that moisture. In this mess of prickly pear husks, there are a few actual prickly pear cactuses that are still alive. They're going to hopefully anchor in this space and allow for more like a living beaver analog dam kind of concept. And because it's going to be very rare that we get the storms, except for the monsoon season, it shouldn't get overlogged with water, but we will see. But yeah, I have, with Tyler's help, created quite a few of these little check dams. We have the fig over here, which this was done before, but we're just kind of improving on it. This will continue down. Future citrus, future citrus, future citrus. We're working on getting the beds situated and some organic material set in so we can get the biological activity going on in the beds. This is also going to get dug, a trench, and the soil will get folded over, so that way it does capture more water. It won't hold it though. All of this stuff drains really, really well. But we're just creating some beautiful little areas here that we can work in some native plants and some grasses. And there was a little lizard in there somewhere. I don't want to disturb him. They're cute. They do their job keeping down pests. But as you can see, we've been very busy. So also tidied up this area over here a little bit. The rock rake my grandmother let us borrow. So this will be a spot where we'll probably put another one of these agaves. These probably need to be thinned out a little bit too. They're still really intensely done there, but Mexican fan palm is still doing all right. The ocotillos are leafing out. This Mexican fan palm, we're not sure if they made it or not, but we got some seeds from one, so hopefully if this one doesn't make it, we can get some other ones going on. And we just put this little cover on these fig trees at night to try to make sure they don't dry out, and to ensure that we got some good stuff going on. What else have we been doing? Let's show you the other side of this spot over here, where I have some prickly pear trying to hold in the bank with some more of these check dams, which will eventually be fulfilled further into bio swales. So as you can see, they look pretty good on this side. This all was a spot where water would come straight down through here and just cut across, as well as obviously through this spot over here. But we're trying to capture every fucking drop that hits onto our property and soak it into the ground. So eventually we can get seasonal streams going again, maybe some ephemeral ponds, hopefully perennial ponds. But our ponds currently leach all of the water out of it through the ground. If you go over to the pond areas, you can kind of tell. Yeah, so bees have been angry lately. We don't even get that close because they've been stingy. We're gonna have to figure out what to do with them sooner than later. We're trying not to use insecticides, but at the same time, they are a danger, and there are 3 hives really close by, and they're all getting very, very aggressive as the temperature starts to rise. So one way or another, they have to leave so we can finish cleaning that. I can't even get into that camper to finish cleaning. And we tried to kind of encourage them to move on their own, but so far that's not been successful. So we'll do what we got to do to get these gone. Eventually we will have a hive of European honeybees. Tyler's had them in the past, and it is something we definitely want, but not this close to camp. Yeah. So aside from a few spare projects, we've really just been trying to recover from getting sick. You can see our burgundy plum over there. She's actually starting to flower. Let's bring you over there. Getting over being sick and working on getting a job. So we've been applying like madmen, him and I, for the last like 2.5 months, trying to find some sort of employment. It didn't need to be crazy because we have very few bills when we're out here. But it needs to be something that can help fuel this dream of getting ourselves off grid. And you can see the flowers on this bad chicken. We will not let this plant hold fruit this year, just so that it can get better established and we're not stressing it out. But yep. I think that's about all for today. You can still kind of see that the flowers are going crazy everywhere down here. Let's see if I can get a little bit better of a picture. That's quite lovely. It does seem like they're starting to slow down a bit, but that's okay. You know, there's a season for everything. And we have a bunch of these gorgeous little guys popping up all over, which from what I understand, they're called blue dicks. Yep, I'll insert puns here. They're all over the property. We have to get rid of this London rocket. We just haven't gotten to it just yet. I'm a little afraid of bringing a weed whacker over here with the bees being so close. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, they're swarmy and angry. So we're going to avoid that. But this is the update. We're going to be heading literally in a little bit to empty the trailer of trash in the background over there. And hopefully we'll be able to get some progress on the A-frame here in the near future so that we can get more into the A-frame, because being in a tent for the summer is not on the top of our lists, and we need a place that's going to be AC that we can close in fully, and you know, thrive. So actually I can probably poke our heads in here and you can see some of the seedlings that we have going on. So we have a whole bunch of seedlings that have come up. We have some olive cuttings as well as some other plants that we had snagged. We're going to see if we can get them in. And we have been working on seeds like crazy. Tons of perennials, tons of different species, some cacti, etc. This space obviously has not been fleshed out because the bees have been very active and making it very, very dangerous to be even over here. This is doing really well. We have a whole bunch of species popping up. We did plant some comfrey here as well as under some of the fruit trees, and in areas that we thought it might benefit. So this is all starting to do really well. The bees love this when we water this down. I don't know if it's the horse manure, if it's the mud, if it's the water itself, but they love it. And the beds have been watered down consistently, so they're starting to turn into beautiful soil. Obviously, they're not still quite ready for what we're planning on for these, but we have some cover crops like clover in here, as well as some squashes. We figured squashes would be good for the summer or the spring/summer. So far, only one of these ones has popped up, but everything's looking pretty good. Cactuses here and the aloe trees. Everything's actually doing really well along this swale. We have some lemon seedlings in there, some trifoliates, lots of different things are popping up throughout here, maybe some borage or something. As I trip on it here, not sure 100% what that is, but I believe it's borage. And we got a baby, the little girl. Whole bunch of tree seeds throughout this, as well as sunflowers and clover and peas and beans, all kinds of good stuff. We do need to swale check dam contour the rest of this as we go down this hill. But right now, because we have so many of these gorgeous blue dicks popping up everywhere, we're letting this kind of go through for the spring season and let it be what it's going to be for right now. And as we get going through this season, we can reassess once things have stopped flowering, and we'll begin the swale system here, so that way when we do get monsoon seasons and the water comes from the driveway down through this little patch here, that we catch every possible drop, as well as when it comes around the driveway here and comes through. And then we're going to continue the beaver analog dams here, and then probably dig in a couple little small catchment ponds in between the check dams to allow some catchment, hopefully some place and habitat for some amphibians. And we can slow this process down. You can also see the backside of the ponds. There are tons of those little California or Mexican poppies. They're gorgeous and they're everywhere. And I think that's one of the reasons the bees are so happy. Not happy with us, they're happy with life in general, and they want us away from their happy little area. And the cats are enjoying some wheatgrass that we planted. Birds everywhere. You can hear the pollinators everywhere. You can see some butterflies. Just a beautiful place out here. We're enthralled with it. We got a bunch of different kinds of figs. Tyler's birthday has just occurred, so everybody drop in a happy birthday to Tyler. This is a Chicago hardy fig. It was a single one that we got. I don't know if it was at Costco or Walmart or somewhere, but it had 2 stems, which Tyler successfully separated. It is doing a little bit of transplant shock, but we'll get some Epsom salt and stuff on it. We got little onions and stuff popping out. As you can tell, these these African daisies are loving it. I know that a lot of people have a hard time with them, but for me, they're pollinator attracted, and I'm going to keep them in this area. And we'll eradicate them outside of the specific area that we want, which will honestly be the entire stretch of this. On the inside here, I have put down some manure. And as you can tell, our compost is doing really well, and we threw in a bunch of squashes or pumpkins or watermelons or cucumbers or something seeds in here, and they've all popped up, so forgive the mess there, but got lots of good things coming in there, as well as look at the sunflowers. Sunflowers are popping up so good. We have all kinds of things coming in through there, seedlings all over the place, but through this whole space, basically, I would like to get those African violets. Eventually we can, maybe transmute them out with something that's more native, perhaps. But I just want an early food source for the bees, because like I said, eventually we will have honeybees. I know, little girl, I know. You're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. We want more feed sources for the local pollinators, and we want the beauty of it. And we'll keep it in check what little bit will be here, and it'll probably just be this one space that we add this to. And as you can tell, there's tons of already native things in this little corridor. We got the fairy dusters. We got some cholo cactus. That was the purplish looking one. I think it's the stag, I'm not positive. We have puntia. We have agave. We have a barrel cactus. We have an ocotillo here. We have another prickly pear. There's a totem pole cactus. And there, it's hard to see, but it's right there basically. Another prickly pear. And then we got the larger Indian prickly pear, which will be gorgeous. That one gets really big, so we're excited for it. But yeah, it'll just be basically this strip. And I can envision just really lovely yellow and orange flowers. Maybe we'll get some of the other varieties as well. Maybe just kind of use it sort of like an annual and collect the seeds, so that way they're not popping up everywhere in the environment. Although honestly, there has been worse things popping up. Honestly, I think they're considered more of like a nuisance than necessarily an invasive species, because I don't think I think other species can grow in with them as well, but we'll see. Ocotillos are just looking absolutely stunning, as well as these lovely little fairy dusters. And they're all over. If you can see the one in the back there behind that Indian prickly pear there. And our ocotillos here, hopefully those take and root. That is our goal. We're going to start putting those on a lot of the higher points in the drier spots to try to help create wind buffer, wind breaks, and just some gorgeous native stuff going on. Yeah, right. Oops, sorry. Fly was attacking me. The bees have made me super jumpy, so you can tell there's one right there. But they're not very nice. They like to fly at your face. This does have a couple little goldfish that Tyler got to try to make sure that we don't have any extra mosquitoes. We're going to get other things. We got some snails from my cousin Nicole, and you can't quite tell. Let's see if I can get close enough. This bamboo is starting to leaf out. So hopefully at least a few of these pieces of bamboo will be able to get to root and be able to transplant and utilize as a gorgeous manicured plant. That one won't be able to get out of control because there's not enough water for it to get out of control. And it'll just be one of the plants that creates a beautiful noise. It'll help block some views. It'll create some resources that we'll be able to utilize on the farm and the garden. Goodness gracious, little girl, you are so beautiful. You dirty little girl, you. You dirty little girl. Yeah, you're Papa's favorite. Papa loves both of you. You're my favorite little girl. He's my favorite little boy. Look at some of these rocks that we have here. I'm just saying, some of this stuff is gorgeous. But that prickly pear there is doing good. Tyler planted a bunch of stuff in this. I can't remember what. I think comfrey, maybe some poppies or stuff. I'm not quite sure. I'll show you guys one more thing because we're getting to that point in time where a lot of these cactuses are getting ready to flower. And like our cholo's starting to have flower nodules, as well as the prickly pear that have been in the ground for a little bit. The ones we transplanted do not, but for the most part, for the prickly pears. But look at those gorgeous little flower heads popping up. We're excited to see this bed chicken flower. Yeah. Things are looking good. All right, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is the end of this week's content. Still moving some of this horse manure around, but you can see that. Even right here, there's a little spot. There's a little frog, a little lizard. Let's see if I can find him. Nope. All right. No worries. A lot of stuff going on still. We're going to keep you going. We are taking this trash today, and that will be a huge relief off of me. And we start work tomorrow morning, so we'll be working Monday through Friday, busting our ass for the man, and we will be reinvesting that back into this property and ourselves. And it is going to be an amazing summer. I look forward to sharing this all with y'all. Please like, subscribe if you like this kind of content, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Bye.